Welcome back to the Call to Adventure podcast. We're here today with a guest, Hugh. He was half an hour late, so this podcast is going to be a little bit rushed. This is Hugh's first real setup podcast, and the first one being like a proper guest, or?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
How are you feeling about your first podcast?
I don't know, it's a bit nerve-wracking. The studio is so nice as well, but it should be fun.
Yeah, you're normally the one behind the camera, but today you get to be in front of it. So
yeah, pretty much.
Ask some of the hard questions.
Yeah.
There's one thing to know: if you come late, he'll let you know about it.
Today I'm the grumpy tradie. Apparently,
I did that last week. So.
Last week or the week before when you just didn't show up.
Oh,
you just didn't show up.
Getting the times blurred again.
Yeah. Anyway. Welcome, Hugh. Thank you for last minute call up. We appreciate your time.
It's all good.
And was really excited to have you on. So tell us a bit about yourself and who you are.
So my name is Hugh. I'm getting into content creation. I was once a roofer. And then before that I was in digital marketing. But yeah, content creation is what I love to do. It's my number one passion. And I am at the stage right now where I'm not making any money, but I'm just kind of sending it. And I'm trying to figure out how I can make this work. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at and what I'm doing.
We love that phrase, don't we?
Fucking send it. Yeah.
This is why I've been so keen to get this guy on.
Don't look at me when because it won't pick up on the mic.
This is why. While we're at it, I'm just gonna.
You gotta get your hair right.
Nah.
All right, cool.
But I was gonna say this is why I've been so keen to get this guy on.
He's been talking you up a lot.
Yeah, has he?
I've been buttering you up, man.
Okay, cool.
No, you were a roofer.
I was a roofer, man.
Mate,
Yeah.
join the conscious trading.
Yeah.
He was a tradie.
Yeah.
You got to work with me now, bro. 10K. Come on.
Yeah.
No, that's exciting, man. I love to hear people pursuing their passions and their dreams. And I can tell why the two of you get along so well. You're definitely like-minded individuals and both very creative by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you want to have Hugh on today so badly?
Because I mean, similar to how we met, it was just sort of like out of the blue, random synchronicity, and it was similar to him. So how did we actually meet? And then we can get into a bit of your story.
Yeah. So I think it was Ken who hit me up, right?
Yeah.
And then I've been for the longest time trying to find other creators in Melbourne. I just found it really difficult. I had gone on Facebook groups. I'd gone on YouTube. I'd type in Melbourne vlog, Melbourne creator, and like gone through all the videos, messaged them, like everything. I tried everything. And it wasn't until I posted that TikTok when like Ken reached out to me. And as soon as he reached out to me, I was like, yes, I'm so down. And then I woke up and you and Ryan are there. And yeah, it was just like immediately I was like, this is what I need. Like I need friends who are in this space who I can talk about ideas with, just shoot content with. And so, it's been real cool.
So what was it like before that? So you've been searching for that environment and that group and to have brothers that, do the same thing as you. Yeah. What was it like before that? What were your biggest challenges doing it solo?
I think there's always benefit in talking about ideas or getting like feedback on certain things. So like I would watch my content and there's only so much I think I can observe from my content. I think there's always good having, just external feedback from other creators as well who know, YouTube, who know all these social media platforms, who also create content. I would get feedback from my friends as well and my family, but they provide a good feedback, don't get me wrong, but I think when it comes to creating on these platforms, creators know how to make content, they know how to grow, stuff like that, and create content that's structured, and I kind of wanted that advice. So beforehand, I just kind of had to try and figure things out myself. It's a bit difficult.
Is it almost like the whole concept of like you wouldn't take financial advice from a broke person?
Sort of.
Maybe that's a bit hard.
Hey, Mom, how do I shoot this camera? I don't know.
Pretty much.
I got a Nokia.
But you mentioned the video that went viral on socials and
semi-viral. Yeah.
So humble.
How
many views?
What are we talking?
It's 600 something.
I
told you this guy was
I went
modest.
semi-viral too. Don't stress. I got 400.
All right, semi-viral.
Yeah.
But there's a reason why that went viral, and it also going back to the guiding synchronicities thing. That popped up on Angie's TikTok feed before I even met him. So already there was like a mutual connection there.
Yeah.
But why do you feel like that?
Hold on, before we continue, what was the video?
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, first of all, what was the video and why do you feel that went viral out of all the videos?
So the video was me basically talking about the importance of a gap year and talking about my experience of going through a gap year and why I found it so beneficial. so I briefly just mentioned that it is a scary thing because most of your friends are going to go to university, and you're going to be a bit of a loner if you decide to take a gap year. And I said the importance of it is that essentially when you come out of high school, I feel like, throughout high school, I just did nothing. I just played video games. I didn't listen to the teachers. I was just a dropkick. And so when I turned 18, all of a sudden teachers and parents were like, okay, what do you want to do now? And I had no idea. And I feel like other people in that same boat. And so I thought it'd be beneficial for me to tell other people that, it could be beneficial to take a gap year, to take, the next year to figure out what you actually want to do with your life. Because I think it'd be a waste going to university, spending 3 years there, tens of thousands of dollars, and then find out that, you don't really want to become an accountant and whatever, right? And I think that the reason why the video did well, I think there were a few things. I think that quality was one, a very marginal part, but I used my camera. Everyone's on their phones on TikTok, so when they see something that's a bit better quality, they're like, okay, it's a bit better quality, stops them in their track. And then I think that I also touched on all the kind of things that I said. I thought of like what the objections would be, and then I tackled them. So, at one stage, people were like, oh, I'm too scared to, take a gap year. Handled that. Parents and teachers will say, oh, just go to university and then figure it out. Handled that. So like, throughout the thing, I pushed my point, but also tried handling the objections. I think that at that point, it got to the point where people would watch the entire video and then they'd kind of have to somewhat agree with me. And I also think that it was kind of like a topic that not many people talk about, where a lot of people tag their friends and some people have it in their mind as well. So yeah. What do you guys think of taking a gap year?
Well, I took one, so like I agree with that fully. But then my next point was like, how did you spend it? How did you spend your gap year?
I tried everything. So I got 2 retail jobs immediately so I could start making money. I also did photography at events. I did YouTube. I tried starting a clothing brand. I did door-to-door sales. So I just tried absolutely everything.
Threesomes, foursomes,
orgies, not quite.
That stuff. Okay.
Why do you think it was knocking on doors?
So I just tried everything, nearly everything. I stumbled across. I started reading books as well, which I hated reading books in high school, but started reading books because I was like, I just need to consume as much as I can to try and figure out what I want to do. And that's when I was kind of introduced to, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I kind of got into, maybe our business marketing would be interesting. And then I somehow met someone who came into the place I was working at, retail, and he happened to own a digital marketing agency. And then I kind of talked to him for ages, and one thing led to another. I ended up working for him. Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
How do you feel about a gap year, Luke?
Oh, I 100% agree. I think the schooling system's fucked anyway. So yeah, don't go to uni. Take the gap year and really decide if it's what you want to do.
Yep.
There's definitely no objections towards that.
Did you do your apprenticeship, or how did you?
I didn't do an apprenticeship, but I just started working. I left school when I was 15. I believe I'm wise enough to, even though I didn't finish year 10, I'm still smart enough to hold a conversation and have a bit of wit about me. But I would definitely recommend finding yourself, quote unquote, and having some form of time off before jumping into a decision, because that decision is going to affect you for the rest of your life.
Also, I think that brings up a really nice discussion around going all in. Around this thing of like going all in, because that's something that we've all experienced personally, both in like personal life but also business. And the reason I bring this up now is because I was having a conversation with my sister yesterday, and she was talking about her journey. It took her 6 years for her to actually like maintain a very steady place, a strong foundation with her business. And she was saying that there's like this, I guess her piece of advice from her experience is just for the beginners to be wary that you don't have to necessarily go all in for it to work out. Like you do have the opportunity to dabble in certain things and try things out and test things. Because I've gone all in in recent times, and I've learned personally how hard it can be. But I guess the whole point of that, coming out of that, is you don't have to take a harder way.
I mean, I did just listen to, I don't know if you listened to Dylan Friends, but Bradley and him talked about this. I think it was Dill, but I went down the path of going all in as well.
Yeah.
And that was that 6 months off.
Yeah, gotcha.
And with the expectations of starting a business in 6 months, not a great reality. When you think about it, hey, you're like, well, probably not going to happen, especially to the size and yada, yada, yada. But I would not have changed it for the world.
100%. What did you learn by going all in?
I'm not the guest.
I knew he's really good at that. He's really curious like me, so flip the coin.
Okay. Well, my name's Luke. I'm a conscious tradie. Yeah, I think that was probably one of the biggest takeaways was actually the fact that I didn't need to go all in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, completely immersing yourself in something for 6 months completely and not having to worry about anything else will teach you way more than you ever know. The goods and especially the bads, because you'll realize how quickly business can flip on its head. Now, I had a very successful business in construction, but I didn't start that business after at least 10 years in the industry.
Yeah.
Right. So I went in with this expectation like, I'll kill it. I'll make a couple $100,000 the first year. And then it just went, no. And it was a great humbling and a great lesson for me in hindsight. In the moment, not so fucking great. But yeah, I think it's good to completely immerse yourself and fuck up big time.
Yeah.
Because I feel like there's so many valuable lessons in that. In hindsight, if I would tell someone to do it, I would say go all in, but also be a little bit smarter about it.
Yeah.
Just be patient. Where I was like, I wasn't patient.
Yes.
And that was the lesson I needed to learn. So
that's exactly what Angie said as well. And after our conversation last week about, I don't know, how I was approaching content and social media and putting out my message, I think that's why I really needed that week break to just like not feel like I had to constantly say something on social media.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest change for me after this week is that the urgency and drive is still there. It's almost like higher, but the rush isn't. Yeah. I'm not in a rush, but I'm still in this place of like urgency and drive.
Where's the urgency now though? Is it still in short form videos?
No. So how I want to approach it is actually just, and you mentioned, funnily enough, you mentioned this to me of like more one take, hit the record, one angle and just tell your story, tell a message, which is similar to, and this is why I feel like your video sort of hit a chord, and it may not have been one take, but you spoke almost if you're speaking to one person.
Yeah.
And I think that's something I'll definitely double down in a lot more. It doesn't have to be this like fast fucking like
100%
ADHD style of content. And that's really not me. It's sort of like if I asked myself why I was doing that, it was because I was trying to cater too much to a certain type of people.
No, I read that.
And so this is going back to you, is you've also had the experience of going all in, face first into YouTube and quitting a lucrative job in terms of like income. So now coming out of that, you've just done 30 plus days straight of daily vlogs, which is a feat in itself. What are the main lessons coming out of that now?
I'll give you my takeaways of just sending it, because I think it's been like 2.5 months now. I learned a lot from vlogging.
Vlogs every day for 2.5 months?
No, for 30 days.
Oh, okay, you did
but
30 days
I've sent, it's been like about 2.5 months since I fully sent it. And I think I resonate with what you said and what your sister, Ange, is it? Yeah, what she said. Because, I think I potentially could have just done, maybe not the daily vlogging, but I could have figured it out bit by bit by just doing this, just roofing, but also doing content on the side. I think for me, I didn't have too good of a plan before sending it. And I feel like if I had a better plan, the send would have gone a bit better from the start. In saying that, I don't regret sending it at all.
Yeah.
And I think that ideally, the number one thing that I wanted to figure out was what kind of content can I see myself doing and also going with on social media. And I wanted to take this send and approach it like my gap year, where I just try everything and see what kind of content fits me. And I think I've gone to the point now where I know that I like vlogging, but I know how difficult it is to grow with vlogging on YouTube. It's not a trend right now, but I want to keep it up. So I'm going to be doing weekly vlogs, and then I'm going to focus on TikToks and short form content, because that's how I can. I know, but that's where the growth is. And when I was sick for like 2 weeks, a few weeks back, and I watched 2 long form videos, and then the rest were shorts. And at that point, I was like, holy shit, like I am not even consuming long form, unless it's a podcast, right? Which was interesting. And that's when I was like, if I am watching more short form content than long form, then that should tell me something.
Can I ask you a question? What is the purpose of your growth?
What is the purpose of my growth?
Yes.
Okay, so I remember a lot of kind of like you think about Airac and all these other YouTubers. A lot of them
Never even heard.
You know Mr. Beast?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they were talking about, even though they liked recording this certain type of content, they found more benefit in recording content that did well and then eventually doing what they wanted to do. And doing content, I think that I see how that makes sense. It's just I had to battle my own kind of enjoyment with content. I was kind of scared that I would stop enjoying content if I started recording content that was for the purpose of growth. But I think I've realized like I just love recording content in general. And I think with shorts especially, even though I hated shorts initially because I found it difficult to get a point across and it just wasn't as impactful as a long form content. I think there are ways to make it somewhat work. And the growth, like TikToks just get so many more views than my regular videos, even though I grind 100 times harder making YouTube videos. And I think there's something to be said by that. And that's why I've kind of switched my focus a bit. And then apart from that, in terms of, I think I've realized that roofing is not something I want to get back into. It was good for money, but in terms of the actual work, I just don't enjoy it. And I'm not passionate about it. So I want to create a business that's kind of in this content space where I'm creating content in exchange for, money so I can survive. So yeah, I think I'm going to start working with brands, doing like UGC content, but making, kind of like advertisement promo videos, things that they can use for their social media, package that up and create a business around that. Because I really enjoy that and I can see myself doing that. So yeah, that's kind of what I've learned from the past 2.5 months of sending it, which is why I don't regret it. But I also think that I can't really say, but I think I may have been able to come to that conclusion whilst still doing roofing. I'm not too sure though. Yeah.
See, I resonate a lot with that because I know where you stand with short form, but I will say that I almost feel like there's a duty for me to also cater to the people who aren't maybe necessarily ready to meet me and sit down and consume a piece of content from me that's like 10, 15 minutes long. Like you first have to sort of have that coffee catch up with someone before you can go into the deeper conversations. I feel like that's a good analogy for it.
What's another way for that? Like I just like playing devil's advocate and I'm heavily against short form, and I agree because I will still utilize it. Yeah. But what's another way of having a coffee catch up without doing short form? Without having them to buy heavily into your 15-minute vlogs or long form content?
I mean, text messages, phone calls, but then it's also like, are you just going to get their phone number off the bat? There still needs to be a touch point.
Could you be doing guest appearances?
Guest appearances?
On podcasts?
Yeah, but you still also have to build some rapport to get on their podcast, right? There needs to still be a form of exchange of value. Like there still needs to be a fair exchange. So my whole point of that is that it can be both. But I think the thing where I maybe got a bit stuck in is I thought I had to go all in onto one thing. And I got sort of caught in that trap of like I have to cater to just short form, just the quick stuff, when really it's not.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm just like recalibrating a bit more to maybe a 50-50 split versus a 70-30.
Why do you hate short form so much, Luke?
Let's ask him that question.
Jeez, all right. Mr. Defensive. Damn, bro.
I want to hear it.
Nah, for me, it's the short attention span that it's created.
100%.
Can't even hold a fucking conversation with someone without them dying to check their phone.
Yeah.
That's what heals me.
Yeah.
And that's why it's like that's why I feel so out of alignment wanting to post that shit because, okay, cool, I'll give you a 30-second clip of me and it sort of interests you. But what was that 30 seconds? It was nothing. Yeah. And then it's like move on to the next and then you take in another 30 seconds of information. It's like da-da-da-da-da. And like you were saying, when you were sick, you watched 15 minutes of long form and then you got sucked into the short form.
Yeah. The death scroll.
And it happens to all of us though. Yeah. Like I'm guilty of it too. Yeah. There's always that dopamine fix, but that's what it's created and that's why I'm so against it.
And do you think it'll ever go back?
That's my mission.
Yeah, gotcha. Because I find it really difficult to see it going back to how it was. And that's when I was like, fuck, I'm just going to accept it. And it is what it is.
But then is that not the problem right there?
It probably is, but it's what can I relate it to? What other problem can I relate it to? I don't know. But I feel like there are a lot of other issues like that where it's just like, I can, work on it myself, but like the majority of people aren't going to realize that and aren't going to go back.
And that's cool. Like, I get it, right? And the other example that we spoke about last podcast was AI and AI, what it's creating.
Yeah.
Right? And then Ant said something to me that I can resonate with. And even on the work site, right, there's things that they've built to make life easier.
Yeah.
So it's about making life easier with AI. And then you go, okay, cool. What am I utilizing it for? Yeah. So if you go, okay, I am going to use a short form, and this is only a recommendation. You can do whatever the fuck you want with it, right? Yeah. But for me, I go, if I'm going to use short form, I'm going to use it for the greater good to get them off short form onto long form.
Yep.
That's the only way that I want to use this. But like, hey, like short form, get ya, come off this way.
Yep.
Listen to the podcast or watch the longer form YouTube video.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's like that's the only reason that I'd use short form for.
Yep.
It's not to like grow. Like I don't feel that need to grow to, like, yeah, I'd love to grow to millions of followers, but it's not about that for me. It's what it's created and yeah. So, but yeah, it can be utilized for good.
Yeah.
And everything can be utilized for good. It's just the way that you look at it. And that's why it's like, I hate short form, but at the same time, like I know it can be used for a benefit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way that I look at everything.
Yep. Yep.
And in the greater context of it, what does like long form mean to you? Because I guess to
deeper
me,
connection.
it's deeper connection, right?
Connection,
yeah. It's like,
And that especially, it's specific for the industry that we're in because we're coaches. I need to connect with someone on a deeper level for them to fork out a high amount of money to invest in themselves as well. They need to be watching like, okay, fuck no, I can really resonate with this. That's why the vlogs are going to be coming super handy on a job site when everyone's like, no. And that's the connection that I can build.
That's why I love podcasts so much. Like the effect that podcasts have on us is the exact same reason why we really want to double down on this format.
Yeah.
But yeah, so back to you with where you're at with content and coming out like 2.5 months in now. So with the UGC content, user generated content, like I see what you're producing and I can generally feel like you are enjoying that process.
Yeah.
And also I will share this with you as well. I feel like there is a big demand for like higher quality produced UGC videos because we've been flogged with just like the iPhone videos for the last like year and 2 years. And I feel like now there's starting to be a bit more of a demand for like well-produced videos.
I'm glad. Yeah, I think it's a difficult one because I think that the the iPhone videos, UGC content, it just works really, really well and gets results. So I'm not sure if it's entirely going to go away. I just have to find a way to make my high quality videos more organic. And, you see like high quality videos on TikTok of like the cinematic film type stuff. So I think that if I can kind of make something where I can grab someone's attention and they won't know it's an ad immediately and then slowly plug the brand, then I think that's how I'm going to succeed with it.
Is that not manipulation?
I think that there's a way for me to also plug the brand, but also create something that is special and something that is actually enjoyable to watch and entertaining. So in my mind, if I can plug the brand without, misleading people into, just purely being a branded video, then I don't think it is that misleading in a bad way.
Good answer, mate. I'll just put you on the spot.
But it's also the big difference is like these are products and services that you generally use as well. And
exactly, yeah.
Like if you do watch Hugh's UGC content, it actually it doesn't feel like it's a branded video, which is like to me a big criteria for a successful UGC video, but marketing video as a whole. So
UGC, when I can't understand what UGC means, but what is it to you? What are you sort of promoting at the moment as?
So it technically, my style of video doesn't fall under UGC, but for brands, it's easy if I just say UGC because I'm still a user that's generating content.
Yeah.
It's just not when people say UGC, they think of like iPhone videos. So I'm kind of like just being like, I'm a UGC creator, but just to kind of get in and then I can show them my type of content, which is a bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what sort of content are you posting personally, or are you just working with brands?
I'm working with brands. Personally, vlogs is what I've always enjoyed because I think I personally love watching vlogs, like Casey Neistat vlogs. Like, I'm not sure if you, So basically just like understanding someone's life and seeing them go through life. I also think there's value in, I don't know, just like documenting your life as well and seeing how far you've progressed. And I am big on like personal development, and I think there'd be a great way for me to kind of like promote self-development through vlogging and showing my life and showing my progression. And I could see that having an impact on people. So vlogging is something that I've always enjoyed and I always want to do. And I think that will eventually kind of help people, hopefully.
Is that the long-term goal? Because it's nice hearing you speak about this and wanting to create impact and whatnot. Yeah. Is that the long-term goal here?
Yeah. If I could create a career around vlogging, that would be that would be just the best. Yeah. Yeah.
And like going even bigger picture, where else would you love to take the vlogging, the business side of things? Like you mentioned, like doing workshops, doing some form of mentoring programs.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think it'd be really cool to do like mentoring and stuff like that, and like putting that on the videos and stuff. I like the idea of events, and just like getting speakers, getting people from different industries, and just like getting like other creators or just like younger people who are like, you know, still trying to figure their stuff out. Yeah, it would be cool to create an event around that. Yeah.
Do you need a conscious tradie?
Do I need a? So yeah,
are you trying to sell it?
Yeah, what is conscious tradie?
What is conscious tradie?
Yeah, tell me what it is.
Oh, I don't know if I can say it on this podcast.
No, surely.
Isn't it contradicting with? Nah. Well, you always coach who you were.
Yeah,
and you'll find that, and even just saying you want to work with creators and you want to work in that sort of field and have events like that, is basically the exact same thing as me. So for me, I worked in the industry for however many years, I think it was like 10, 11, had my breakdown, had enough, and then went on the seek of personal development and realized that I wanted to be a coach and help change the world. So for me, that is not what everyone's story is going to be, but what I found along this path over the last 3.5 years was I found a way to wake up energized and fulfilled every day. So I'm happy and I'm enjoying the day and I'm enjoying being back on the site right now, knowing what that takes, and that's being physically healthy, being mentally healthy, being emotionally healthy, and being spiritually healthy. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail because people are like, what the fuck are you talking about, Luke, right? Because, you know, you can talk about spiritual health and all that sort of shit, but it's just about becoming the best version of yourself, becoming your true higher self and enjoying every moment, and then having a resilience mindset and wanting to grow. It goes into like way more depths, but it's just about, waking up energized and getting away from the job site, the environments on trade sites, pretty fucking toxic. Yeah. You know, like I went down the drugs, I went down all that, and like everyone talks shit about everyone, but it's always about being yourself and being able to be the best version, and that's all it is really. I don't really want to blow it too out of proportion, because all it is at the end of the day is just waking up, grateful, happy, and peaceful.
That's really interesting. You don't find many tradies like that, do you? Like everyone after work drinks, go to the pub, gambles.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So it's cool to find another, tradie who's like,
yeah. But that's the thing, man. That's the size of the mission is so big. Yeah. That's why it's like, fuck her up.
Yeah. Which I could see that space going really big, because, you're helping other tradies who are going to have these bad habits that they've developed from being around other tradies.
Yeah.
So you being able to also help those areas.
Yeah.
That's
and there's no one doing it. There's no one else.
There actually is no one
doing what I'm doing. Yeah. And especially to the size that we're moving at. So stay tuned.
Yeah. I want to ask more questions about that. Is that
go for it, mate.
Yeah,
go. Quick ones. And then
how long have you been doing the conscious trading?
Like 3-4 weeks.
Oh, what? Oh, really? Okay, so it's brand new.
It's brand new, yeah.
How's it been going?
I mean, good, but things are just like I've had to pivot. So for me, it's still early stages. Like I'm still working out branding and everything, man. So I can't really say if it's been going well or not.
Yeah. But right now, the goal is to get on podcasts, spread your message.
Yeah. So basically, I've just been I've hired a VA, just trying to get on as many podcasts as I can. I finally got one booked in. Had like a brief intro with this guy last night. And then just going from there. And then there's a whole lot of other shit that we're doing. So, yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah. Appreciate it, bro.
Excited for you too, Anthony.
Yeah, likewise. I think the thing I'll just like encapsulate for all of us is different vehicles, same sort of destination. Yeah. Like it's just impact at the end of the day. Yeah. Leave the world in a better place.
Absolutely. That's why I liked hearing you speak about, because it's like in the making of what you're doing. Yeah. If you've got like a really good foundation now, surrounded by the right people, which is so important.
100%.
And you'll just see your growth amplify by hanging out with this guy.
Yeah.
He's a big fanboy of you.
Me too. I'm a fanboy.
He does this and he does that. Oh my god. He has the prettiest eyes I've ever seen.
She's the only person who checked in on me because I didn't post on social media. So shout out to you.
Yeah, because no, bro. I there is a part of me that does respect like your consistency when it comes to posting and the amount you post, but I do understand the value in kind of reevaluating.
Yeah.
I just wanted to it was just obscure because I always see your content, so yeah.
I think that also reflects onto me that I also quality over quantity at the end of the day for me. Yeah. So if that means I don't post every day, then that's something I'm fine with.
I think I realized that as well after daily vlogging, especially.
Well, exactly. Yeah. You can definitely speak on that.
What is your thought process on that? Because let's talk about quality over quantity. You would have learned this very quickly, but for me, I was the same. Me and Ant were posting consistently every day. It started getting to a point where it was twice a day, posting the photo in the morning and then posting a reel in the afternoon. I was working with Kenny. I was doing all of it. I look at it now in a specific way where everything is just so filtered down because we try and pump out quantity. And you asked how I've been going. I've been posting once every 3 to 4 days a photo, and I've actually been getting more traction and more conversations because I've spent more time actually investing in the quality of the post itself. So what's your thought process after the 30-day vlogs and what's on moving forward for you?
Yeah, I think that it got to the point where everything was becoming filtered down. Everything was becoming like just terrible quality. But I do think there is value in starting off with the quality side of things, getting that quick feedback from people who consume your content and then kind of transitioning into quality. Because there is so much quality content on the internet. You just kind of, if you want to get those eyeballs as well, you kind of need to work on your quality. Yeah. Do you guys think, how was your like initial just posting ham? Was that valuable or would you have rather
I learned very
quality?
Good habits around it. Yeah, big time. But I mean, I look back at it now and I wish, I don't know, this is a big call. I don't know if I want to say it, but I feel like I wish I didn't do it.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, because I look in hindsight and I'm like, got no growth whatsoever.
Right.
Just posted consistently for like however long, it was like 12 months. And just didn't grow.
Interesting.
I mean, I did get one semi-viral video, which got me 2K followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
So that was the one benefit, but that was like one video.
Yeah.
And then like looking at it in hindsight, doesn't match up with my message.
Yeah. Okay.
Because my message isn't what people want to hear.
Right.
Because it's testing them and questioning their beliefs, and it's like, I don't want to fucking watch this.
Yeah.
Also, was that at that point was the main strategy or the main intent behind that like volume, like sit down, record 20? Was that time or
it was? Can you ask the question again?
Yeah, like because I'm wondering, was it down to just posting every day? Was it again going back to like what was the intent behind?
What was the intent behind it?
Because I feel like
there was quantity.
Yeah, it was quantity.
It was quantity, right. Yeah. And then I stopped enjoying the process.
Yeah. And that's when it starts to feel forced, and then you're forcing a message.
But that's when I didn't even do it myself. I got Ken to do it for me. I just write it up, record, and then I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
And then it's like I'm posting this, and I don't feel this today.
Yeah.
But you just do it anyway because quantity over quality.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right. Hugh, I know we got to wrap up, but I always ask you this, and it's always a different answer, which is also what I really like about you. So, what's your sort of plans in the next? Coming
What's the question, bro?
What?
What's your next call to adventure?
What's my next call to adventure?
All right, let me ask that again.
Yeah, it's the name of the podcast.
Bro.
How's the congruency? When's the last time we actually asked that?
Yeah, I know, but you can't
It starts today.
Yeah,
It starts today.
we got to get back into that.
All right. Luckily, this isn't a live podcast. Or is it? No, okay. So, Hugh.
Yes.
I asked this question to you, and there's always a different answer, which is what I really love.
Yeah.
What is your next call to adventure?
What is my next call? What have I said last time?
I mean, last time it was.
I just say it.
Last time it was like daily vlogs. Last time it was like going to do this.
Gotcha. Oh, okay.
Now it's UGC.
Yep. So I want to continue doing the vlogs, but not daily. I just want to make them high quality. And I also want to figure out how I can make money creating content and enjoy it as well, which I think I've found, which is creating video for a brand in order to try and get them customers and sales. So yeah, that and then the vlogs is my go-to. Yeah. Call to adventure.
Call to adventure.
Call to adventure. I love that. Yeah.
Do you know the hero's journey?
What is that?
I think
that's your.
I mentioned to you briefly. But
Yeah.
It's when Spider-Man is like the option to become Spider-Man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's
Because
his
you have
cause.
Spider-Man like every now and then in your TikToks and stuff. Yeah.
He loves Spider-Man.
Is that your
He's
favorite?
obsessed with Spider-Man, man.
Yeah, I love Spider-Man.
Yeah.
A little bit.
The new Spider-Man.
He's more obsessed with you, man.
Have you, you saw the new Spider-Man?
So good.
See, this is why I like this guy. Have you seen the new Spider-Man?
Was there another one?
There we
You have to watch it.
Come
It's
on,
so
man.
good, man.
Have you seen it?
Yes! Yes,
Yeah.
I have seen it.
Damn, bro.
All right,
Sorry,
Hugh.
man. I'm out here working. You're not fucking watching movies.
I told you,
bro.
it's a grumpy trait. Hugh, is there anything else you want to like say? Do us a favor and just like share whatever you want to say. Where can we find you?
At Hugh Kawabe on everything. But yeah, this was fun, guys. I appreciate it.
We'll get you
Appreciate
back.
the opportunity.
And we won't rush it next time.
Yeah, I still had
Because like if you showed up on time, probably wouldn't have had to. But
yeah, sorry. Guys.
like next one we'll yeah.
But no, I feel like this is good. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah, it was
so
good.
thanks, guys.
Yeah, it was a good chat.
Yeah.
It could always be like a 2-hour conversation with this guy. So likewise. But all right, this was the drive-through version of the Call to Adventure podcast.
I like that.
The drive-through version. Fuck, this is getting
In and out.
commercialized. as fuck, bro.
In and out, baby. All right.
We'll be back next week at 2 p.m. on Wednesday afternoon with our next guest, Tom Clark.
We will. All right. Thanks, Hugh.
Awesome.
Thanks, Luke.
guys.
Thanks, you.
Cheers, guys.
Much love. Ciao.